I've thought a lot about loneliness lately. I can feel very comfortable alone, and yet my preferred state is often being with other people. I don't fully understand this relationship about myself yet. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's the one or the other. It's definitely more complex than that. I think most people can feel more or less content about being alone in different instances. What I mostly had difficulties understanding is the question about when and why. Why am I perfectly content hiking alone on the Pacific Crest Trail, while hiking through Swedish wilderness, that loneliness can instead be overwhelming? Is it about the physical remoteness that the north of Sweden provides? Or is it that I've probably never felt as home as I did on the PCT? Well, during my 2020 summer hike through Sarek, my emotions were all over the place. The physical challenge, mixed with the mental barrier that I had to work through, was, well, challenging. I'd briefly passed through Sarek during a longer journey back in 2015. However, I kind of felt like I only scratched the surface back then, and I'd been scanning the maps now for a while, feeling a kind of pull towards going back there for a deeper dive. There's definitely some overarching narrative that the park is very unique in its wilderness and remoteness, and so naturally I felt very much drawn to go back exploring more of it. I'm always looking for that next adventure that can perhaps give me some sense of being back in that place where I felt most at home. So, just to give some context, Sarek is way up north in Sweden, and I live way down here in Uppsala. And if you don't know where that is, it's very close to Stockholm. And as I said, it's quite a wild place, almost entirely untouched, and you can't really rely on trails to lead you away, although you can find some unmarked ones from reindeer and people. There are no cabins that you can stay in, and it's like maybe 3 bridges in the whole park or something like that, so most of the river crossing has to be done by fording. Anyways, I plan to start at the Suorva dam northwest of the park and end in the small town of Kvikkjokk down to the south. From the dam I had approximately 17k through Sjöfallets National Park before I could even enter Sarek at the bridge over Gukkusvakkjokko. This was my goal for the first day. From there I would continue up towards the middle of Sarek, but then making a quick U-turn and heading straight back east through Bastavagge. This valley mostly leads hikers back out of the park, but my plan was not to end my hike so prematurely. I was instead planning to start climbing up and over to Bastavagge and down to the plateau above Rapadalen. From there I would do the classic route up through Rapadalen to Skarja, passing only a stone's throw from where I had just made the U-turn. And from here I would try to get some more climbing done, for instead of continuing up Rutesvagge as most people do, I wanted to saunter up the ridgeline of Skarjasjokko, over to Gaskasjokko, and then down below the glacier of Oarjep, Rutesjänga, and from there head up through an unnamed valley over to Kuppervagge. This would then end in a zigzagging my way through Alkavagge and Sarvesvagge, and finally scramble my way up through Gaskavagge, Jängjavagge, and from here do a little ridgeline climb up towards Bordersjokko, and then down towards my goal in Kvikkjokk. An ambitious route for sure, and I was feeling cautiously nervous as I started out on the route, walking through a door that looked like a door you shouldn't go through. The sun was shining, scattered clouds in the sky over the dam of Suorva. The temperature was a scorching 18 degrees Celsius, and walking along the easygoing asphalt road was unquestionably a perfect start to my hike. Heading up through the birch forest, I was feeling full of anticipation, but also really quite nervous. It started out a mix of very nice forest path and really not so nice muddy path. I especially remember a big pool of mud and seeing it, exclaiming in frustration, "Ah, come on!" My dry feet were long gone on the nice asphalt, but all of a sudden it opened up and I was above tree line. Phew! Gosh, I'm really happy to be out of that birch forest. It was really swampy. And not very enjoyable. My shoes are quite muddy and wet, but yeah, I guess I have to expect that. Today I'm aiming for this bridge. Would be good if I can get to the bridge, or even further would be optimal. So I have quite a tough day tomorrow, so I'm a little bit anxious about that, and I want to have enough time climbing to go through that. But now it's really opening up. I'm gonna have my first real ford soon, I think. Had just a small hopping on stone kind of ford back there, but now it should be closing into real ford. Whew, the view's pretty damn good. Looks a little bit like this. Pretty damn nice, right? So I came from the dam right down there, and you can't see it now, but the birch forest is just below here also, and then the road goes on the other side of the lakes. So that's where we drove up in the bus. Now it's starting to look a little bit rocky, maybe bouldery or something like that. The views were sure great, but looming above me was my first real test the upcoming day when I was planning to climb over from Bastavagge to Rapadalen. It was going to be a tough day, and not knowing at all how the terrain would be, I was unsure what was in store for me. Also, my track record of scrambling hasn't been too good on previous trips. I had deemed the steepness on this particular climb to be doable, but you never really know until you get there. So my concerns for the big test were growing in my mind. But before I was to tackle the climbing on Bastas, my first smaller obstacle was coming up. As I mentioned, fording is abundant in Sarek since there's only a handful of bridges that are found within the park. During my hike I would cross more than 60 streams, only 3 being on bridges. Okay, so I'm closing into the first ford here now, I think. I can hear it roaring. Shouldn't be too bad, I think. I'm quite high up also, so should be a little bit smaller up here, hopefully, I think. We'll see when we get over the little knoll here. Stepping down into the stream, I felt the familiar feeling of icy cold water and the rush of adrenaline. It's an exhilarating feeling, trying to place your feet among the slippery rocks while your head is shouting at you to be heard above the rush of water. In the end, the ford wasn't too bad, only knee-deep and the current not too strong. And with a thumbs up I could keep cruising on in the uphills. The mushy path and bouldery ground were long gone and shifted to open plains of grass with the pyramid peak of Slugga in the distance. The slope above the valley posed excellent for hiking, and I could speed on towards new views and new valleys. This is going quite well, actually. I am starting to feel a little bit tired in my legs, but that's always the case, you know. I've done maybe like 10k, something like that. The ford was easy peasy. It was a really calm little stream. Maybe not little stream, but a regular size stream. Yeah, it was nice. And now I'm trucking up this grassy slope. It's actually really easy to walk here. And then I'm gonna close into the bridge, actually. It's a little bit still to go, and there's gonna be some tougher terrain, I think, just before the bridge, but that shouldn't be impossible, I think. Maybe I can even go further. That would be really nice. I do want to have the extra time tomorrow when I'm gonna climb up over from Bastavagge towards Rapadalen. It's gonna be a big climb, so, and my pack is quite heavy, so yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough, I think. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but oh, you can definitely see it. But if you can see the magnitude of this is a big little canyon or like a ravine sort of thing. I should have gone through the up here, and then the snow up there should have been pretty nice. It doesn't look like it's a bad ford, but climbing down there and then up on the other side. Ah well. I'm heading over towards there. I think the bridge is just on the other side of this little knoll right there. Right, let's do this thing. Should try to find least steep part. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe it could be a little bit problem with that snow there. It is, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but it is actually just a little bit like a shelf over there. So yeah, it could be potentially problem, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it and see how it goes. Worst thing, I'll have to go down again and try a little bit further down, I guess. Without getting my feet wetter than they already were, I could safely cross the little stream, and the snow shelf I worried was going to be too steep was just the right angle. Everything seemed to go just right so far. It is truly a spectacular way to be entering Sarek, with a grand view straight towards the park and the surrounding mountains. I had not seen Sarek from this side, and when I now was taking in my first views of it, it was better than I remembered. But even with that, the towering clouds encircling the horizon were quite frightening, and I felt very small in the vast landscape. Maybe it is that loneliness again, or maybe rather the vulnerability of being alone. But I try not to let that bother me. Okay, so almost started to rain, but it stopped again. Oh, sorry, mosquito. It almost started raining again, but it stopped again, so that's good. And I'm closing into the bridge actually. I have the hill thingy over here, and then gonna go around that, and then the bridge should be somewhere on the other side of that. Yeah, it's been really easy right now. I had a real struggle. It was a really bad bushy, wacky area. I don't know what to call the bushes. We say videsnår. But through the videsnår, it was horrific. It was not good. It's mosquitoes here also. If you didn't notice, it's mosquitoes here. But that wasn't actually so bad. It looked like it was really long, but it was actually over pretty quick. And then it's been just cruising down. I think I'm gonna go for maybe an hour more and then see if I can find a camp after that. If it doesn't start rain sooner. But I don't think it should. It looks really bright over there, so I'm going for that. But the mosquitoes are killing me, so I'm gonna keep hiking. Closer to the bridge, boulders are scattered along the slope between the lake and the mountainside. A trail starts to appear where hikers and reindeers are funneled in through a narrowing in the landscape. The glacial silt in the lake colored greyish-green, a unique feature of the scenery. Reaching the bridge felt just great. My first objective was completed, and I knew I'd be able to push even further to put me in a good situation for the following day. The time is right now 6:20, and I think I'm gonna go over past, there's a ridge line over there behind me, and over that then down into the next valley there, and there should be, I think, possibly some quite nice campsites there. I'm feeling a little bit tired, but not too bad. That kind of a end of a day feeling, you know, and yeah, just met some nice people, talked to them. It's kind of lonely actually, all by myself, but yeah, it's fine, I guess. It's fine when I get into like the flow and I can keep chugging, walking fast. When I'm walking, when I have a good flow in my walking, then it's really nice. Then I kind of forget. I get into that kind of state where you just keep going. But I really miss taking breaks with people. That is, yeah, it's a big thing, the social part. But hey, at least I'm here. That's the good thing. I'm not struggling at all. Yeah, it's beautiful here. It is beautiful. And possibly some evening light, maybe? It's looking a little bit clear. It's supposed to start raining around 8, so I want to be in camp in about an hour, I think, would be good. So I have some time to set up the tent. Yeah, we'll see. Climbing is fun. 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 Ooh, nice waterfall. Huh. Cool stuff. Just a little quick view of the valley. Came from over there. Bridge down there somewhere. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, the climb is done and the view is... Okay, so I'm not even to the real view, but the view from here is spectacular. I'm thinking about camping around here. I want to find a stream though. There's a really beautiful little pond there. Look at this. Look at that pond. Wow. Alright, good morning. I overslept a little bit this morning, so I've been pushing on now to catch up a little bit of time. Yeah, it's a little bit more windy today, and it's a little bit of a drizzle in there, I think. Hopefully that doesn't turn into anything. It does look a little bit cloudy where I'm going, so a little bit worried, but yeah, hopefully it's fine. I had a couple of streams this morning also, two which I had to ford, but it wasn't super bad. It was definitely doable, and the rest one I could just hop. And here we got another one. There's been like a lot of small streams here. They seem to split up from the glaciers up there. But yeah, walking besides this glacier lake. It's totally green. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's got a very green tint to it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, gonna truck on. The clouds had rolled in during the night and were now covering the peak of Bastavagge. While this was an ominous sign, the occasional glimpse of the sun was still coming through with some rays of hope. There is a sort of trail scurrying along the foot of the steep mountainside. This made it a tad bit easier to keep a nice pace and make up some time heading towards a U-turn that would take me up towards Bastavagge. The reindeer were plentiful here, in search of the greenest grass on the slope or whatever a reindeer do with its time. At the end of the lake, it flattens out to a plateau where the lake turns into several streams heading down on the other side. But that was not where I was heading right now. Yeah, so it's not the nicest weather right now. It's quite windy. I just put my rain jacket on to get some shade from the wind and also the drizzle. Still drizzling a little bit. Yeah, I was hoping for better weather today. Especially it doesn't look really good where I'm going up. And I want to have some kind of clear weather for the climb. Would be good, so yeah, we'll see. At least it's blue sky right above me. But yeah, the rain clouds feel quite heavy, so we'll see. Yesterday evening was such a beautiful evening. It was totally still and it was the most beautiful light. Yeah, it was just super nice, and then suddenly when I was lying in my tent, the wind just started to pick up and I had to go out, find some rocks and put them on my stakes to keep my tent down. And then yeah, I didn't sleep too well because of the wind, but it's supposed to be windy today, and then I think it's supposed to die down tomorrow, so I'm really hoping for that. Right now I'm walking towards the wind, so that's really bad. At least I'm gonna turn around soon. I have to walk this way first and then around the lake and then back the other way. So yeah, we'll see. Turning around up into the valley, the wind was no longer slamming my face, but instead helping me upwards. I took a quick lunch on the northern slope of Bialashoko. The temperatures were not so pleasant 10 degrees Celsius or so, and apart from the fact that time was running short, I didn't want to lay about. So I kept climbing up into the valley, and it went swiftly on quite easy-going grassy slopes, if yet a bit undulating. The valley is quite steep on both sides, and I thought to myself that it would probably be quite an impressive sight in clear weather. I forded the large streams coming down the valley and the surrounding glaciers. The glacial water doesn't allow for any visibility, so you have to trust to feel yourself along the stream bed. However, it was not very deep, and with careful steps I managed to get over it without too much of a problem. The valley changed the higher up I climbed, more and more barren for every meter of altitude. The grass exchanged for rocks and boulders, the mountains towering even higher around me, with the large glaciers cut in between, with outlets pouring down and collecting into one big stream in the middle of the valley. Rain and wind were intermittently beating at my motivation, while beautiful cloud formations covered the sides and made me realize that you need some bad weather sometimes. It makes everything 10 times as beautiful, and it is also those shifts that make you enjoy the good weather so much more. So if I could beat this weather, there would surely be something great waiting for me on the other side. Alright, I'm ready to start the climb now. It's been very mixed up here. It's been rain 1 second, sun 1 second, and quite windy. I'm in a little bit of a shade now, but I'm a little bit worried it's gonna be windy up there. And it's also quite cloudy, so we'll see how it looks when I get up there. It's blue skies just above me right now, but it's beautiful. It's, oh my god, this valley with the clouds hanging low down on the peaks around here is really cool. But I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. This slug up here was quite taxing actually, and I had a ford over there that was the toughest yet. So yeah, it's been a little bit tougher than I thought this valley would be. But I guess it's just gonna get harder from here. So yeah, just keep struggling on. So I'm going up, I can show you, I'm going up right there right now I think, and then it's up on a plateau and then towards a little peak and then down on the other side. It did look quite bad from afar, but it looks it looks a lot better now I think. Yeah. It was already 4 o'clock when I started to climb, and it wasn't without worry. I knew that if I wouldn't be able to do the 9k over to the other side, I would probably be forced to turn back and down climb back into Bastas, because I was not very keen on trying to camp in high elevation, especially with the windy conditions that were bound to be worse than when I got higher up. And also, since I didn't know how the down climb on the other side would be, there was a lot of uncertainty floating around. Like I said, on the maps it looked doable, but then again, I did not really know what doable meant in this case. So I'm walking into the unknown as I leave you for this part. Success or failure is not the important. What's important is that you try, and that you try your best.